start off with a concept that at the heart of handling traffic for modern app: scaling. Alright, so let's make this idea of scaling basically a little more relatable. So imagine that you are hosting a party in your living room. So at first everything is great, there is enough space, everyone is comfortable and the vibe is perfect. But then more guests starts arriving and suddenly your living room feels way too small. We have set the foundation with our scaling example. Let's dive into the first method, vertical scaling. This is often referred as scaling up. So imagine that you are using a laptop that is starting to feel slow. Let's talk about horizontal scaling, or as it is often called, scaling out. So unlike vertical scaling where we focus on making one server stronger, horizontal scaling basically involves adding more servers to share the workload. Now that we have covered the theory basically behind vertical and horizontal scaling, let's take a look at how they're applied in the real world. Scaling isn't just an abstract concept, it's a practical solution that companies of all sizes rely on to keep their application running smoothly. Let's start with a household name, Netflix. Hi everyone and welcome to Prep Train, your ultimate destination for mastering backend engineering and much more. I am Sahib Kumar and I'm thrilled to have you here today. At Prep Train, we are all about helping you grow, learn, and take your skills to the next level, whether you are preparing for that big job interview, or just looking to sharpen your coding abilities, or just exploring the tech world. So you are in the right place. We are here to break down complex topics and give you practical tips and guide you on your journey to success. Now, today's topic is one that is critical for anyone who is aspiring to work in backend engineering: scaling. So if you have ever wondered how apps like Instagram or Netflix basically manage to stay online even with millions of users, it's all thanks to the magic of scaling. And trust me, understanding this concept is a game changer for your backend development skills. In this video, we will uncover the secrets behind scaling, focusing on two major methods, basically vertical and horizontal scaling. I will explain what these terms mean, when to use them, and how they power some of the world's largest apps. But before we dive in, let's take a moment to make sure that you don't miss out any of our future videos. So hit that subscribe button below and turn on notification so that you are always updated with our latest videos. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps to reach more learners like you. Also, don't forget to join our Peptide Telegram community so that because it's a great place to stay updated with latest job and internship opportunities and to reach out to more folks who are passionate about learning and growing in the tech field. You can find the link in the bio of this channel. So let me just bring my deck and then we will continue diving deeper into scaling, what it is, why it is essential, and how it is done. Let's start off with a concept that at the heart of handling traffic for modern app: scaling. Now picture an app like Instagram. So it's a platform where billion of users are uploading basically photos, scrolling through reels and liking posts, and sometimes all at once. So have you ever thought how it keeps running so smoothly without crashing under all that pressure? That is the power of scaling. Scaling is what allows an app to handle increased traffic and user demand without going offline. It's like the backbone of app performance during peak usage time. So imagine that what would happen if Instagram could not handle millions of users. It would crash every time there is a trending topic or viral post. So this is why scaling is so crucial for backend engineers to master. Now there are two major ways to scale an app: vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Don't worry if the terms sound technical right now, we will break them down with the relatable example very soon. So basically vertical scaling involves increasing the power of an individual server, while horizontal scaling is about adding more servers so that the load can be shared. Each approach basically has its benefits and limitations, and as we will be moving forward, we will explore how they work in real world scenarios. For now, let's just keep in mind that scaling is what keeps apps like Instagram stay online no matter how many users are active simultaneously. Now that we have a basic idea of what scaling is, let's look at a fun example to understand these concepts better. Think of it as hosting a party, because scaling is a lot like managing a growing guest list. Alright, so let's make this idea of scaling basically a little more relatable. So imagine that you are hosting a party in your living room. So at first everything is great, there is enough space, everyone is comfortable and the vibe is perfect. But then more guests starts arriving and suddenly your living room feels way too small. At this point, you have basically two options. So option one is to rearrange the furniture, add some chair, and maybe stack some things up to make more space for others. And this is basically like vertical scaling. So working within the current space, but making it more efficient. So it works for a while, but there is only so much that you can do before the room becomes overcrowded. So option 2 is to open up the backyard. So you can bring in more tables, chairs, and voila, there is space for everyone. This is horizontal scaling, expanding your space by adding more resources. Both options basically solves the problem of accommodating more guests, but they come with their own set of challenges. For example, with vertical scaling, there is a limit on how much you can rearrange or add your current space. Similarly, in the tech world, there is only so much power that you can add to a single server. With horizontal scaling, while you have more space to work with, managing multiple areas or in case of servers, multiple machines can basically get complex. And the key takeaway is basically that scaling, whether vertical or horizontal, is all about finding the best way to handle growth without compromising performance. Now that we have set the stage with this party example, let's dive deeper into the specific of vertical scaling. We will explore how it works, its advantages, and where it might fall short. Now that we have set the foundation with our scaling example, let's dive into the first method, vertical scaling. This is often referred as scaling up. So imagine that you are using a laptop that is starting to feel slow. So because you are running too many apps, or let's say like you are opening very large files, so what is your first thought? Probably to upgrade it, add more RAM, improve the storage, or get a faster processor. That is essentially what vertical scaling is all about. So upgrading a single server to make it more powerful. In technical terms, this involves increasing the hardware capabilities of a server, such as adding more memory, upgrading the CPU, or increasing the storage capacity. The beauty of vertical scaling lies in its simplicity. You only have one server to manage, which means fewer complications and less setup time comparing to managing multiple servers. But just like your laptop, there are limits to how much you can upgrade a server. At some point, basically, the cost of these upgrades become impractical, or the hardware itself reaches its maximum capacity. For example, even the best laptop can only handle so much before you can hit a ceiling. So in this case of servers, basically only so much traffic or workload that a single upgraded machine can handle before it becomes overwhelmed. So while vertical scaling can be effective or short-term solution, it's not always sustainable for rapidly growing application. When a single server hits its limit, we need a different approach, and that is where the horizontal scaling basically comes into play. Now let's talk about horizontal scaling, or as it is often called, scaling out. So unlike vertical scaling, where we focus on making one server stronger, horizontal scaling basically involves adding more servers to share the workload. This approach is more like bringing in backup or hiring a team to divide the responsibilities. The core idea is to distribute the incoming traffic or workload across multiple servers. This is often managed using a load balancer, which acts like a traffic cop, and it ensures that no single server basically gets overwhelmed. For example, if one server is handling user request and start to slow down, the load balancer can redirect some of that traffic to another server, keeping everything running basically smoothly. The biggest advantage of horizontal scaling is basically its scalability. So if your application experiences a sudden surge in traffic, like during a big sale or a viral moment, you can simply add more servers to handle the increased load. And there is an added bonus. So if one server fails, the others can basically keep the application running. So making this method far more resilient than vertical scaling. However, horizontal scaling isn't without its challenges. So managing multiple servers can get complicated. You need to ensure basically that all the servers stay in sync and it can work together seamlessly. But with modern tools and cloud platform, this has been much easier than it used to be like some years ago. So now that we have looked at vertical and horizontal scaling separately, let's compare the two of them side by side to better understand their strength and trade-offs. All right. So now that we have explored the two methods in detail, let's compare them to see how they stack up against each other. So vertical scaling or scaling up is all about upgrading a single server. It's simple, straightforward, and you are dealing with just one machine. But as we discussed, there is a limit to how much you can upgrade. So it carries the risk of a single point of failure. If that one server goes down, the entire application could go offline. On the other hand, horizontal scaling or scaling out basically involves adding more servers to share the load. While it's more complex to set up and manage, it's highly scalable. and it offers better resilience. So if one server fails, the others can basically keep in to keep the application running. Think of it like basically vertical scaling is like upgrading your laptop with better hardware. It's great until you basically hit the maximum capacity. And horizontal scaling is, however, is like having an entire team of laptop working together, and it takes more coordination, but basically the team can handle much more than a single upgraded laptop ever could. So understanding the strength and limitation of both method is crucial when deciding which approach to use. Next, let's explore real world scenarios where these scaling methods are applied and why companies choose one over the other. Now that we have covered the theory basically behind vertical and horizontal scaling, let's take a look at how they're applied in the real world. Scaling isn't just an abstract concept, it's a practical solution that companies of all sizes rely on to keep their application running smoothly. Let's start with a household name, Netflix. So Netflix is a prime example of a company that uses horizontal scaling. Think about the million of users who log in at given moment to stream their favorite shows and movies. All of that data, the video streams, user interaction, and recommendation needs to be processed in real time. So Netflix achieves this by using a vast network of servers distributed across the globe. So when their user base grow, they simply add more server to handle the increased load. And it ensures basically a seamless experience for everyone. This approach is what allows Netflix to scale up for peak times like new show release, or there are some global events, football live World Cup match, anything. On the other hand, small businesses or startups often start with a vertical scaling. Why? Because it's simple and more cost effective for handling lower traffic levels. For instance, a small e-commerce site might upgrade its single server with more RAM and CPU power as its customer base grows. Vertical scaling works well for businesses that are just getting started and don't yet need the complexity of managing multiple servers. As your application grows, however, your scaling needs will evolve, and different businesses have different requirements based on their traffic and users pattern. So understanding both vertical and horizontal scaling basically helps you choose the right solution for your specific situation. With these examples in mind, let's summarize the key difference that we learned in this video on vertical and horizontal scaling. So let's wrap everything up that we have discussed so far. Uh, Basically, vertical scaling, as we have seen, is all about upgrading a single server to make it more powerful. It's a simple and straightforward solution that works well, and when traffic is manageable, but it has its limit. And once you hit that ceiling, basically you need to think bigger. And horizontal scaling, on the other hand, is all about adding more server to distribute the load. So it's a more complex solution, but it shines when scalability and resiliences are priority. By spreading the workload across multiple servers, you are not only handling more traffic, but also ensuring that your app stays online even if one server fails. Thank you so much for watching this video on scaling here at PrepTrain. Today we covered the basic of scaling and explored how two powerful methods, basically vertical scaling, which involves upgrading a single server, and horizontal scaling, which focuses on adding more servers to share the load. So these concepts are the heart of backend engineering, and they are basically essential for building a scalable and reliable application. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment or give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and reach more learners like you. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you are always the first one to know when we upload more valuable content. We will also love you to join our Pep10 Telegram community. It is the perfect place to stay updated on latest jobs and internship opportunities, connect with other learners, and take your career to a new heights. You will find the link in the bio of this channel. Lastly, stay tuned because we have got so much more content coming your way, from diving deeper into backend engineering concept to practical coding tutorials. We are here to support you every step of the way. So until next time, this is Sahib Kumar signing off, and keep learning, keep growing, and I will see you in some other video. Take care.